I guess we can quickly recap the past 3 Giants games, the past month in Giants football. As I mentioned, I was driving back from Rhode Island when the Giants were playing the Cowboys. And I really hope it wasn't America's game of the week. If so, get your money back. And the Giants got absolutely steamrolled, 49-17. Was never, I guess there was maybe one point in the game where I was like, oh, we got an opportunity. I think it was like a pick in Dallas territory, the first interception. And we went for it on fourth and didn't get it. So, yeah, it sucked. 61 net passing yards for the day. Dallas had like 7,000 total yards. We were 0 for 12 on third down. Dallas had 37 minutes of possession. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess it's official. Like, we can probably put the seal on getting the number 1 or number 2 pick in the draft. And like all these goddamn youngins on the tweets on the X saying like Caleb Williams or Drake May are going to be right. Little do they know, Jaden Daniels is the man. So, and then we go out. Tommy DeVito, his first start is against Dallas. He does not look great, though he does throw 2 touchdowns. And so somehow that set a record or broke a record. It was like a never before done thing. And then he comes back in Washington. You know, I was down in South Carolina, so I couldn't watch it. So I listened to it. And he puts up a hell of a show. Crazy that we won this game 31-19. A lot of people are acting like the Giants were in control of this game the whole entire 60 minutes. And I say to them, whoa, what game were you watching? Because it definitely felt like there were some points where it was in jeopardy. Washington had 28 first downs. And they sacked Tommy DeVito 9 times. 9 times. But Washington did lose 3 fumbles and 3 interceptions. 1 for a return for Isaiah Simmons for pick 6 turnovers, and they had 34 minutes of possession. So, I mean, there are a lot of wins that are happening right now that have never been done before in NFL history, courtesy of the New York Football Giants. So, at least they are. It's a season to forget in a lot of ways, but you're gonna see this season pop up in a lot of record books down the pike, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck happened in 2023? Yeah, that was a crazy win. And of course we got the Paisan celebration with the hand gesture. You probably know the emoji with the hand gesture. So we got that touchdown celebration going wild, and everyone had Tommy DeVito fever. And I think we still have Tommy DeVito fever. And we're now starting to think like you got Saquon Barkley's endorsement. It seems like Saquon Barkley likes him a lot. And so what went from here's an undrafted free agent that is probably not going to be on the team next year to now we got people talking about should he start over Tyrod Taylor because Tommy DeVito is obviously going to be back next year and Tyrod won't because he's too expensive. It's like, whoa. Okay. Every week is just a goddamn journey in the NFL. It's just like every week is a new. It's just like a different world, different rules week to week. And then Giants hosted the Patriots. I had briefly entertained going to this game with my buddy who's a Patriots fan. I put it out there back when it looked like things might be turning for the Giants and the Patriots weren't so like completely out of it and defunct. And then once the Giants, like Daniel Jones goes down and they get slaughtered by the Cowboys and the Patriots put up some real stinkers, my buddy was like, we're not doing this, right? And I was like, yeah. And Giants pull out the win 10-7. It's just like very ugly game. Like yet again, the Giants gave up 18 first downs. They gave up 6 sacks and 34 minutes of time possession to the opponent and won. And it's because they forced turnovers. 3 picks, 2 from Mac Jones, I believe, 1 from Bailey Zappi. We were outgained total yardage, and third down conversions were about the same. New England was 2 for 2 on fourth down conversions. But Tommy DeVito taking care of the ball, not throwing interceptions, not fumbling the ball, either taking sacks or taking risks, throwing it deep. Jalen Hyatt a couple times. Jalen Hyatt is such a goddamn weapon. and is being wasted. So it's good to see that he's coming around, that he's probably going to be a big part of the offense moving forward. I would hope he would be a big part. But, New England had a 34-yard field goal attempt to tie the game at the end of the game and hooked it wide left. And I immediately texted my buddy and I was like, now that is how you tank. Like, they kept it interesting. They kept it close. They had a chance to tie it or to win. And they blew it accidentally. It's like, who's to say that Bill Belichick didn't whisper in his ear, hey, hook this and you get an extra blah, blah, blah in your stocking for Christmas. So another win. So now we're 4-8. And so we go into bye week. We're feeling good. And there's even some talk about, we're mathematically, we're not eliminated from the playoffs in the postseason. And technically, if we could run the table and win out or win the next 4 of 5 games, we would be 8-9 and looking at possibly getting the 7 seed. Like the Seahawks are kind of meh, right? They lost to the Niners on Thanksgiving, and then I think they lost again this past week. So they've been kind of in a spiral. The Rams have kind of taken off, and of course the Packers have not taken off. The Packers are our next opponent. So, NFC South is just a cesspool. Probably the weakest division in football. And so it's like NFC South winner gets the 4 seed. Doesn't look like anyone else from that division is going to compete. We're now we're a half a game above Washington now, and we're in 3rd. I mean, Washington, Jesus Christ, I don't know what the hell is going on with that organization, but like they did not have a complete sell-off. I mean, they traded 2 of their best defensive linemen, but I don't think that was a complete fire sale. And yet their defense just looks atrocious. They got smoked by Dallas on Thanksgiving. And they got smoked again by Miami this past weekend. So it would seem, Jack Del Rio's fired, and it looks like Ron Rivera is probably the next to go, but they probably will let him finish out the season, I guess. So somehow we're in 3rd. And the postseason is not completely out of reach. It's like, honestly, if Darren Waller comes back, if Dexter Lawrence comes back, if Evan Neal comes back healthy, not that matters. If Andrew Thomas wasn't hurt, if Tyrod Taylor, it's like, maybe I would give us a chance, just because the season's been so crazy with injuries and the quarterbacks going down. I think they said like 4 of the 7 AFC playoff teams as of right now, their backups are playing, or backups of backups. It's like, it's basically Tua, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson are the only starting quarterbacks amongst the current playoff teams. If the playoffs were to start today, of course, like Bills are just on the outskirts. Broncos are just on the fringe. But like Kenny Pickett went down. Joe Burrow went down. Trevor Lawrence just went down on Monday night. It does not look good for him. So it's just like that kind of season where who's to say that like Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts doesn't go down or blah, blah, blah. So it's just that kind of season. Now, the big question is, should we start Tyrod Taylor or Tommy DeVito? And a lot of people saying that Tommy DeVito should start. And it's like, he's earned it and he's going to be with this team next year. So he should get the experience. Like, we're out of it. We're basically out of it. And I'm thinking to myself, I feel like you should just play Tyrod. I feel like you should just play him because you still have a fighter's chance. You still have a little, like 1% chance of making the postseason. So it's like, play him and start him until you're absolutely eliminated. And then maybe you can throw Tommy back in the mix. So not that Daboll would do that, but he should. The other big stories is like Daboll and Wink aren't getting along. That no one likes Daboll. How quickly the tables can turn, and that he's going to get rid of his entire staff, bringing in a whole new staff. And people are like, no, we need to keep Kafka and Wink. And I'm like, well, I think we should keep Wink. I don't know. I'm not so sure about Kafka. But then again, it's like, our roster's been so decimated this season, and it's so bereft of talent that like we haven't been able to really fully realize his playbook. Mostly because the quarterback either doesn't have time to make the decision or makes the wrong decision. So, Yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly. And so what bothers me is like everyone had that same response. Like the only thing that Daboll and Wink fight over is the last slice of pizza. It's like maybe the PR, like Pat Hanlon, the PR guy should have been like, hey, mix it up a little bit. Don't everyone use the line I gave you? So that makes me think, yeah, there's for sure a fucking problem between Daboll and Wink, and that maybe the staff, I think it was the staff or the players, don't like how he takes them to task and like bitches them out in front of other people, which I can understand. Yeah, that could get on your nerves a little bit. So that's where the Giants stand. But